I must confess, until a day or so ago, I had never heard of the celebrity chef Salt Bae.
He went from feeding presidents and A-list celebrities to being kicked out of football finals, from sprinkling salt on $1,000 steaks to facing lawsuits, scandals, and empty restaurants. So what really happened to Salt Bae? How did the internet's coolest chef become its biggest punchline? This video explores how Salt Bae lost it all. In 2023, Salt Bae tried to do what he always does, show up where the cameras are. The Champions League final was packed with stars, athletes, and press. But this time, when he arrived suited like he owned the place, the response wasn't applause. It was a rejection. Security stopped him cold. No VIP pass, no entry, no sprinkle. The man who once ruled social media found himself being escorted out, politely but firmly, from the stadium. Fans online celebrated his removal like it was the winning goal. Memes flooded Twitter, mocking him for trying too hard to stay relevant. And as usual, he tried to spin it. He claimed he wasn't kicked out, that he was just passing by. But come on, nobody passes by a Champions League final in a tuxedo and sunglasses at night. The internet wasn't buying it. For the first time, the world didn't see Salt Bae, the celebrity chef. They saw Salt Bae, the joke. But his public humiliation didn't start there. The real turning point came in 2022, at the biggest stage on earth, the FIFA World Cup. Argentina had just made history. The players were crying, hugging, celebrating the moment of their lives. And then, out of nowhere, Salt Bae appeared on the pitch. He wasn't part of the team. He wasn't invited. Yet there he was, trying to grab Lionel Messi's arm for a selfie. Messi, visibly uncomfortable, tried to walk away. Salt Bae pulled him back. The internet froze that moment forever. The man who couldn't read the room, forcing his meme into a sacred sporting victory. Then came the ultimate mistake. He picked up the World Cup trophy, an honor reserved only for players and heads of state, and posed like he won it himself. FIFA was furious. They opened an investigation and officially banned him from all future events. That was the day the public turned. The mysterious, charming chef was gone. What remained was a desperate man chasing the ghost of his own fame. His charm turned cringe, his fame turned fatigue, and Salt Bae's empire began to rot from the inside out. While Salt Bae was busy chasing cameras, his restaurants were falling apart. His London flagship, once booked months in advance, saw profits nosedive by nearly 50%. The reviews were brutal, overpriced, tasteless, pure gimmick. Customers complained about $600 gold-wrapped steaks that looked great on Instagram, but tasted like disappointment. Others said they paid hundreds and left hungry. As the hype faded, so did the crowds. Soon, the luxury restaurant had to start offering £39 lunch specials just to fill seats. In Boston, his restaurant was shut down for violating safety codes. In New York, another closed quietly. Even Dubai, the city where his fame began, was no longer impressed. A reviewer visited and found the place almost empty. Once, there were lines out the door. Now, there were echoes. It became clear Salt Bae wasn't selling food. He was selling fame. And when that ran out, there was nothing left to taste. Behind those golden curtains, things got even uglier. Former employees came forward with lawsuits claiming Salt Bae had been taking 3% of their tips. When some confronted him, they said he fired them on the spot. One lawsuit compared him to Tony Montana, yes, Scarface himself, describing his management style as a dictatorship. Workers accused him of seizing passports, humiliating staff, and ignoring labor laws. They weren't running restaurants. They were surviving a cult built around one man's ego. In one case, 4 employees were fired after questioning missing money. They sued, claiming Salt Bae ruled his kitchens like a tyrant with a god complex. For a man who built his fame sprinkling salt with flair, the irony was brutal. He couldn't even season his business with basic decency. But no scandal hit harder than the Istanbul incident. During one of his signature tableside fire shows, something went horribly wrong. A burst of flames erupted, and in seconds, 4 customers were engulfed. One of them, a Russian model, suffered third-degree burns over a third of her body. The aftermath: his staff allegedly destroyed the security footage. No apology, no public statement, no compensation. They just erased it from the record and pretended nothing happened. The internet didn't forget, though. That fire became symbolic. The moment when the illusion of control literally burned away. Salt Bae's empire wasn't just collapsing, it was self-destructing. If there was still hope of saving his image, he torched it again in 2018, when he served Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro gold-coated steaks during a national food crisis. Millions in Venezuela were starving, eating once a day, while their leader was being hand-fed $1,000 steaks by Salt Bae like a movie villain on vacation. The backlash was instant. Protests erupted outside his Miami restaurant. Venezuelans living abroad called it a slap in the face. Salt Bae stayed silent, and then, unbelievably, just before opening another restaurant in Miami, he posted a tribute to Fidel Castro, in a city home to thousands of Cuban exiles who fled Castro's regime. People couldn't believe it. Either he didn't know, or he didn't care. Either way, the result was the same: outrage. His tone deafness wasn't funny anymore. It was offensive. It didn't stop there. One man in Miami said he ordered a normal steak and was served the gold version instead, without asking. When he refused to pay the $1,000 bill, the restaurant called the police. Yes, the police, over a steak. He ended up paying, but not before filming the entire ordeal and posting it online. The video went viral for all the wrong reasons. The comment sections exploded with people calling it a scam. What was once luxury dining now looked like daylight robbery wrapped in tinfoil. By 2024, the numbers spoke for themselves. His Instagram growth had slowed to its lowest rate since 2017. Engagement dropped by over 70%. His posts, once flooded with praise, were now filled with clown emojis and jokes. Salt Bae was still trying. Still posting the same poses, the same knives, the same dances, but nobody cared. The mystery was gone. The charm was over. He became a symbol of everything fake about influencer culture. All gold, no soul. The more he tried to prove he was still that guy, the more people realized he never really was. In the end, Salt Bae wasn't a chef. He was a performance, a meme with a credit card machine. When the performance stopped being entertaining, there was nothing left to admire. His restaurants were empty, his reputation was burned, and the empire he built on attention finally ran out of it. Salt Bae's story isn't just about a man who fell from fame, it's a warning. He started as a hardworking butcher from Turkey who dreamed big. He had charisma, flair, and timing. The internet loved him because he was authentic. But fame changes people. The man who once smiled behind the counter started seeing himself as untouchable. He stopped serving food and started serving ego. Every sprinkle became a performance for validation, not passion. And when you build a brand on image alone, the fall is inevitable. Because the internet always moves on. Trends fade, memes die, and fame doesn't care about loyalty. Salt Bae didn't just lose his customers, he lost the story that made people root for him in the first place. He could have turned his viral fame into a sustainable brand, affordable restaurants, creative menus, something real. Instead, he chased luxury and forgot humility. And in doing so, he became exactly what he used to mock: the rich man selling empty promises. So yeah, that's the story of how Salt Bae lost everything. From sprinkling salt on steaks to burning bridges and setting his own empire on fire. A rise built on gold flakes and viral fame, undone by greed and ego. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below, because the next fall from grace might just be around the corner.